Hi guys, Roman
and Julis
here, and welcome to the top albums of the year video. This is kind of an annual thing. It started in 2017, but it was only last year that Julie joined me, and I still think it's one of the...
And I don't know why I'm joining him right now, but okay.
I think it's one of the best videos because it's very cute, and I think it's just
because
great.
I don't know English.
Language. No, it's not that. Okay, so first of all, as last year, first I'm going to start with a few statistics of the channel and then we'll go through the list. So first of all, if you watch my videos and if you kind of follow me around, then you might have noticed that my output has been somewhat reduced this year because last year, which was my third year of YouTubing, I released 47 reviews, which was the most reviews like ever in the third year. And this year it was only 31. So much fewer reviews. And the reasons for this, couple of reasons actually. You know, we've got a little son, we've got our hands full. We've been working on our house. Plus I've been working on my second album and that's sort of a priority over YouTube. So I've been very busy with that. And the work on the album has gotten even more intense recently because it's gonna happen next year. So yeah, so that's about the album. Also, despite the fact that the output has been reduced, the production quality of the videos has gone up significantly. So first of all, I think it was around Caligula's horse. I started including the microphone and the sound card, and I think that improved the audio quality by 50,000%. But funny thing is I had that microphone for like 2 years. So I don't know why I haven't been using it or whatever. Then I think it was around Simon Collins' review, the son of Phil Collins, that I started using the soft boxes. So that improved the lighting. I also started using coloring. And around the fish Weltschmerz, I also updated the thumbnail section. So thumbnails look much more professional. So despite the lower output, the production has gone up pretty significantly. Also, when it comes to how many records I listened to this year, around 50. So that's almost the same number as last year, but I somehow think last year was better. Like better records came out last year. I don't know if it's because the bands I love and the bands I know happened to release really great albums last year. But I mean, there were many records where, you know, because I don't really do reviews, you know, I talked about it last year. These are more like promotional videos. So if I'm really passionate about a record, if I really like it, if I really have a lot of positive things to say, that's when I shoot a video for it. And also there were many artists who didn't release albums this year. Like they decided to release it next year for obvious reasons, like for example Foo Fighters, Steven Wilson. Their records were ready this year, but they decided to, you know, release it next year. So that's that. Also, my most watched series, Worst to Best, I released only 5 videos this year. Last year it was 6, but I have one more prepared, so hopefully in the early January the next Worst to Best will go out. Okay, and I think we can start with the countdown or list or stop this video.
Okay.
One last thing before we start. I'm not going to talk too much about these albums because I made a separate review for all of them and they're all going to be linked in the description below. So in case there is a record you don't know or a record, the review of which you missed, you can find it in the description below. So let's start. Okay, so at number 15, and I was kind of deciding between Haken's Virus, which is a great album, and so I have Renaissance, Past in Devotion, which I've heard 12 times. Renaissance, they're basically a band from the town I come from, so they're a local band. With the drummer, I had my first band. With the frontman and the bass player, we played in the Pink Floyd show, and they play basically like progressive metal. They have their own kind of twist on the genre, and I think they have their own style. And yeah, I think it's a very good album. There are like maybe like 2 weaker moments, but the rest is very, very strong. So I think it's a very good album.
I'm
It's a renaissance. I heard their songs before, so I'm okay with them. I'm not surprised.
She's not really a fan of the album.
No.
At number 14, I have Psychotic Waltz, The God-Shaped Void, which I also heard 12 times. And Psychotic Waltz is this iconic, kind of an underground prog metal band from the 90s. And this is their 5th studio album and the first new music in 24 years. And it's kind of a, again, prog metal, shorter tracks, like around 5 minutes. And what makes them stand apart is the flute.
Nice record, but it's not in my top 6.
You have your own list?
Yeah.
I didn't think she was gonna have her own list because she was listening much less the music with me because she was busy, studying, taking care of a kid, taking care of another kid. Okay, number 13, Julie's favorite band, Crippled, Black Phoenix, and Elangist, I guess, which I've heard 10 times. And as I said in my review, I'm not a big fan of Crippled Black Phoenix, but this album, I really liked it. It's kind of a like progressive post-rock, very, very based on textures and stuff like that. But yeah, it's about the atmosphere, and I think that the melodies are very good.
Yeah, I love this record.
But you said in the review that they had better albums.
Yeah. No! I don't know. Yeah, h.e.a.t. Yeah, I love this record.
But in the review you said that they had better albums. It wasn't their best one.
Yeah, I said, but I love this record.
We're still gonna use the previous take. Okay. Number 12, Answer Shikari. Nothing is true and everything is possible, which I've heard 16 times. Answer Shikari is this interesting band. They basically came from the metalcore scene, but they were using electronic elements. So sometimes their music is called electronic core. And, they were like combining hip hop, metalcore, pop, I don't know, hard rock, all this stuff. And interestingly though, I think their new album is like a total step away from metal. Like, I don't know why, all these metalcore bands like Bring Me the Horizon, Asking Alexandria, they're kind of getting away from metal. Even Leprous, like, I don't know, it's just a thing. These metal bands essentially kind of start doing different music. So this is more of a poppy album with occasional heavy moments. It's very colorful. There's even like a symphonic track where you hear just a melody like from a movie or something. Very colorful album. I really enjoyed it, and I think it shows their range. I really liked it.
Is heavy. Meanwhile, back at the Dreamers Hotel, 5 stars, but all rooms are vacant. Meanwhile.
What about you?
I'm okay with this hip hop shit, but it's not my cup of coffee.
At number 11, I have Lunatic Soul, Through Shaded Woods, which I've heard 10 times. One of the more recent reviews. And Lunatic Soul is a side project of Mariusz Duda, the frontman, the lead singer and the bass player of one of my all-time favorite groups, Riverside. So Lunatic Soul is more on the acoustic, more mellow side. And yeah, I think the new album is beautiful. He kind of combines acoustic rock with folk and even with occasional acoustic metal moments. A beautiful, beautiful record. And surprisingly, it has 6 songs, and there are 3 bonus tracks on deluxe version. And the third bonus track, Transition 2, which is almost 28 minutes long song, is I think the best track from Lunatic Soul, like, ever. I absolutely love it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I really enjoy this album. It's great.
Melancholic.
Yeah.
Okay, at number 10, I have the only non-English album, Fagraph, Ostrov, which means an island, which I've heard 13 times. And Fagraph is a pretty famous project or band in Slovakia. They kind of combine world music with electronics, with art pop, with some maybe Slovak folk, very partially. Great record. And I think that the music is very, very beautiful. I mean, this is the music that should be played on the radios, I think.
Yeah.
So did you like it?
Yeah, I liked it.
Anything more you would like to say?
No, it's not my top 6 album.
Number 9, Lordy Collection, which I've heard 10 times, and I love this record. This is like a fictional compilation of the best songs from like the first half of the 70s until the second half of the 90s. And the whole album is made like a concept album where basically it's like a late night radio rock show where you even have a host. And like if he plays their hits in a certain order, he will summon a demon. I mean, it's kind of funny. It's kind of like a parody, but also it's scary. And it's just such a unique concept. I mean, it creates an atmosphere that no other record provides me with. And most importantly, the songs work. They're colorful. It's great. I love this record.
Yeah, it's a really dynamic album.
Mm-hmm.
And I like it.
Number 8, Pain of Salvation, Panther, which I've heard 13 times. So yeah, Pain of Salvation, this is their 11th studio album. In my review I said 16th. I was just overworked, I guess. And they have a very unique take on progressive metal. It's kind of pushing the genre. It's very melancholic, very melodic, very emotional. Great songwriting, and I like how different the record is, because I finally started revisiting their catalog and I went through their first 3 albums, which are fantastic, but it's so different. It's so different. So yeah, really great melodies. Great melodies.
Yeah, I love this album.
You compared one song, I think it was, I'm not sure if it was Accelerator or Panther, to Linkin Park.
I don't know, maybe. Yeah, I said that when if Linkin Park wouldn't go to pop, then they sound like this.
Mm-hmm. So if they didn't do pop, they would sound like this.
Yeah.
Nice. Don't worry, we will work on second conditional, so we'll get that working.
If they don't do pop.
If they didn't do pop, they would sound like this.
If they didn't do pop, they would sound like this. Yeah, if they didn't do pop, they would sound like this. I think. Maybe. Maybe yes, maybe not.
And I think I'm gonna use the previous take. Okay, number 7, The Midnight Monsters, which I've heard 14 times. The Midnight is probably the biggest act coming from the synthwave territory, and I guess the people listening to synthwave are pretty specific about what they like, because it's very much based on the 80s keyboards, electronic drums. Sometimes you hear a saxophone or whatever, and it has that 80s nostalgia. But even though all of their records were a bit different from each other, they had kind of a unifying vibe. This album is pretty different. It's very bright. It's a perfect soundtrack for summer. And I think it's a bit more poppy than synthwave-y, if it makes any sense.
All the love you need underground. We dream away.
But yeah, the songwriting is beautiful. I think it's a beautiful record.
Yeah, I love this record. It's midnight.
Sure. So the next record was a surprise for me because there were two dinosaur rock bands that released new albums. Deep Purple with their great Whoosh, but Kansas, The Absence of Presence, which I've heard 10 times, great record. Kansas is basically this, probably the biggest American heavy prog band, and what made them unique was that they had more accessible melodies than the British prog acts, and they also had a violin. And surprisingly, the new album, which I really think is among their best works, was written by two band members who have been in the band from anything between 2 to 4 years. So the new band members, and yeah, the album sounds exactly like Kansas. The songwriting is really great.
I don't know.
You don't remember?
No.
Do you want to?
Yeah, I remember you.
I played it to you.
Yeah, and I'm okay. I don't know.
Yeah, it has that 70s hard rock, heavy prog-ish vibe. Yeah.
Maybe I was okay with this. No.
Maybe she was okay with it.
Ever?
No, it was good. I'm just repeating, like,
Yeah.
it's an interesting opinion. We're going to top 5, and like every 5 records start with a Slovak act. So at number 5, I have Slovaks Late, The One and I. They play progressive alternative metal. Like sometimes there's growling, sometimes there's screaming. For the most part, there's clean singing, and I like this record. I mean, I liked it when I made a review for it, but I think the record somehow started growing on me in these last couple of days. And yeah, there are a lot of great moments. The songs are kind of proggy in that there's always something happening. Sometimes it may be even a little hard to realize where you are. But yeah, I really like this record. It's great. It's great.
I don't know why, but I don't like their music and his voice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why.
But on the other hand, she doesn't like my voice as well, so... Number 4, Caligula's Horse, Rise Radiant, which is my most listened to record this year. I've heard it 19 times. And Caligula's Horse is one of my all-time favorite groups. They are also one of the most unique prog metal bands. They have a very specific style. And their previous album, In Contact, was the album of 2017 for me. One of the best albums like ever. And all of their records are fantastic. And the new album is pretty much what we would expect from them. Great album, but it's, in my opinion, quite challenging album. Like, it takes, like, even after hearing it for 19 times, I still don't feel like I really know the album. So it's their least accessible album, and I think I like In Contact a little more, but still, I think it's a phenomenal work.
Yeah, I love their music.
So before I reveal my top 3 picks, so let's hear what albums made it to Julie's top list, which I think is top 6, you said?
Yes.
So let's hear it.
In my top 6 list is R. R.
R, yeah, can be R. That's number 4.
Every record is number 1.
Okay, okay. She is not making the list as we go. She like totally prepared herself.
Ešte raz dám, hej.
Dobre. So let's hear what albums made it to the Julie's list.
Yeah, my top list, I don't know
The order.
the order.
Mm-hmm. So they are all at number 1?
Yeah, yeah. Maybe number 1 and number 2.
And I think we're using the previous take. Well, I guess my editor of these videos is gonna be really pissed.
No.
I am the editor of my videos. I'm gonna be pissed. Okay, so this is take 74.
No, 4.
74.
Maybe 3. In my top 6, with no order, is Crippled Black Phoenix, Pain of Salvation, Haken, Caligula's Horse, Midnight, and Lunatic.
At number 3, I have Biffy Clyro, A Celebration of Endings, which I've heard 16 times. And Biffy Clyro, they're kind of hard to define. They play like modern rock / indie rock / pop. And so far, they haven't released a bad album. I love all of their records, even though the first couple of records were a bit heavier. And yeah, it's just colorful. There's a lot of energy. The songwriting is great. And the track Instant History is one of the best pop songs I've ever heard, even though the rest of the album is not that poppy. But yeah, I love this band. They're great.
You pushed it into pieces. You polished up your cocaine. Your face is fucking numb. I can see the gleam in your heart.
Yeah, it's cool album, but it's too much energy for me.
Too much energy.
Yeah, it's very happy record, and it's not for me.
Okay. Number 2, and this was a big surprise for me. So Fate's Warning, Long Day, Good Night, which I've heard 13 times. And Fate's Warning is one of the most iconic prog metal bands, kind of up there with Dream Theater and Threshold. Maybe not that popular and appreciated. But I was listening to their 80s stuff, and I really didn't like that. Like, it really wasn't for me. Somehow it didn't click with me. But the new album blew me away. The singing, like, there are many great singers on these records, but I think this was the top vocal performance of the year. And the whole album, you know, the album is 1 hour and 12 minutes long. I hate long records, because usually quantity is over quality with this. But here I didn't mind. It was great from beginning to an end. Great songwriting, and I'm actually going through their discography backwards. So now going through the newer records and making my way to the older stuff. So yeah, this was one of the best albums of the year.
Stay the path, one that I understand where I am. Ignore the cages set before and chose the life that I was offered. The page forever altered.
I don't know this album. I don't know this group.
Yesterday when we were listening to it, you said you didn't like it.
Yeah.
But you couldn't tell me why. Tell me why. Nice. And number 1, this was also a surprise for me. I have h.e.a.t and their 2 album, which is definitely the album with the most ugly album cover. I mean, couldn't they do it better? I mean, all of the other album covers are much better. This is their 6th studio album. And none of these albums are bad. They're all great albums. The songwriting is top-notch. I even think that this may be their best album, even though there's a bitter-sweet flavor to it, because their singer is Erik Grönwall, who won the Swedish Idol in 2009. And this is the 4th album with him, but he announced that he is leaving the group like 2 months ago. And their original singer from the first 2 albums, he's coming back. So he came back already. So interesting, but yeah, absolutely brilliant album.
One by one, soon they all will sing the song. Going down, one by one, we won't stop until we're done. They fall one by one.
Yeah, I'm okay with the album, but I don't like energetic stuff.
Yeah, she said it was too optimistic for her, too festive, celebratory.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you have it, both of our lists. So, yeah.
What is your list?
Yeah, you can let me know in the comment section below. You can let me know if you agree with me, if there are any records I haven't made a review for and you think I should have checked it out. Maybe I did, maybe I just didn't really like it. Also, you can follow me on Facebook or on Instagram. You can find links to both in the description of this video below. And also, if you like this video, don't forget to like, to share, to subscribe. You can check out my own original music, my live performances, my worst to best series, and all the reviews as well. So thanks a lot for watching, and Happy New Year.
And a lot of health.